Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock here, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, coming to you from Middletown, Virginia. And I had a miss last week. My German Shepherd got injured on Wednesday. She tore her cruciate something ligament. It's like a torn ACL in people. So all day last Thursday, I was, at the vet with her and just kind of keeping her comfortable and stopping her from running. But she's scheduled for surgery next week. So that crisis is, I guess, behind us, sort of, kind of. But today, happy Halloween, by the way. It is Halloween. I hope that you are getting lots of trick-or-treaters where you are. We do not get any here where I am. But let me go ahead. I want to switch my screens, if I can. My mouse died, so I'm using the touchpad, which I hate. So this is our project for tonight. I'm taking a break from cards, and I'm getting into a little bit of home decor because when I saw the Reindeer Fun Bundle, I knew that it was just going to be perfect for doing like a mini shadow box. So tonight we are going to create this mini shadow box using really almost all of the dies from the Reindeer Fun Bundle. And then we're going to use a stamp from the Sweetest Christmas Bundle. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. So these are the Reindeer Fun dies. We're going to use the wreath. We're going to stamp this tree and cut that out. We're going to use these bells, the presents and the bows, the holly and the berries, the lights, the 3 pieces to the deer, and the little bow to put on the deer. So I think there's 18 dies. We're going to end up using like 14 of them. So we're going to start out. I've got here a piece of our garden green. This is 8 inches by 8 inches. And what I did was I just kind of marked off very lightly. I don't know if you could see it. I marked off very lightly, like a little bit of a 1/2 inch score line, because I wanted to have a 1/2 inch on all the sides. And I cut a piece of the Reindeer Days Designer Series paper down to 7 inches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go put that on. I'm going to use my liquid glue. That one's kind of empty. Let's go with one that's a little bit more full. I'm going to use my liquid glue. That gives me just a little bit of time to kind of mess around if I don't place this exactly where I want it. Liquid glue, although for me it is messier, it is a little bit better when you're doing some of these projects because it will stick better, and just a little bit will really go a long way. So don't really like clump it on there too much. You don't want a big clump. And then I've got just a little tiny bit there. So I'm going to go here and I want to put just a little dab kind of right there. And I'm going to kind of spread it out so you can see. And I'm just going to put that corner down. Okay, so now we've got our base. Now I've got 5 pieces that are cut to 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. That's the green. And the red is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And then I've got these that are 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. And those are going to be our 2 longer pieces. You could do all small pieces, excuse me, if you want, but I wanted to do the present, so I knew I wanted to do something different. So now this is where the 2 things that we're going to stamp are, we're going to stamp the sentiment, and this is from the Sweetest Christmas. I'll show you that in a minute. We're just going to stamp, "May your days be merry and bright." And we're just going to stamp that on here. Okay, there we go. All right, so that looks good. And now I want to stamp this tree, but I want my tree to be 3 different colors. I want yellow, green, and brown. So we're going to do a little bit of masking. So I'm going to bring this here. So first we're going to do the green, and you will need like some kind of platform with which to put your paper down, because you do want it to be in the same spot when you're doing this masking technique. So if you have the Stamparatus, go ahead and pull that out. If you don't, if you have something else, another platform, go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to kind of cover up that star and that bottom stem, like trunk part. So then I'm going to come here. I'm going to use our garden green. I'm just going to ink up my tree. Okay. Now this is the very important step. Remove the tape. Ask me how many times I did this without removing the tape. Okay, don't forget this step. Very important step. All right, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to push it down. Okay, so now here's another little trick I learned. Kind of hold my paper down with that so it doesn't move. I'm going to come and I'm going to clear off my stamp. Make sure, it doesn't really matter if I have green because I am going to go right over the same spot. I'm going to take this out for a minute. Now I'm going to cover up the tree, like the branches. And I'm just going to leave the star and the trunk exposed. Okay. So this takes a little bit of time, but it looks so pretty when you're done. So sometimes it takes just a little bit of time. Now I'm going to come in here. The trunk I'm going to do with pecan pie. I'm not really worried about getting my ink on anywhere else on the platform because it's not going to hit my paper. So I'm not really worried about it. And I'm going to do the star in Daffodil Delight. Put it up a little bit. Okay. Okay. So now I've got that. And we'll take my tape off. Okay. There we go. We got our tape off. I'm trying to make sure I don't have ink all over my fingers, which I think I do, of course. All right, now we're going to do that. Make sure that's on there. And now, whoops. There you go. Now you've got your 3 different colors on your tree. You've got your yellow star, your green branches, and your brown trunk. And that is how you can get 3 different colors. But like I said, you will need a stamping platform so that your paper stays in the same spot. Now, maybe you're really good and you can eyeball it and do it. More power to you. I cannot. So I'm going to put this over here. Otherwise, I'm going to forget to put away that stamp. All right, let's just put it over there for now. All right, so now then I would go and I would take my matching die and I would die cut that and I would end up with this piece. So let's go on and let's start putting our layers together. So this one is going to be our center square. And we're going to go ahead and just start putting all of these together. All right, so I'm going to build my squares first, and then we're going to go and put them on our base. All right, I'm going to pull this in here. This is pretty easy. This is just going to be our holly. So I did 2 different leaves. I did one in garden green and one in granny apple green. Those match the colors in our designer series paper. And of course, the real red. So we've got real red and garden green and granny apple green. Okay, that's that. Let's put our presents together. I think this one, no, I didn't do that one. So this is the smaller bow, and that goes on the piece that has like the dots. I don't know if you can see that. You see the dots? It's kind of hard, it's out of focus. Okay, but there are 2 present dies. One has the dots in it, and one has like the dashes on the diagonal. Okay, and these little dotted presents get the smaller bow here. You can see it better in this picture. Maybe not. Anyway, so let me know if you're tuning in now or if you're watching on replay. Let me know where you're watching from. I promise I will have a blog post up with the measurements. So don't worry about writing all the measurements down. They will be on the corresponding blog post. It'll probably get done this weekend. Now this one, I think I did put backing on this, the adhesive backing. The reason I did that is because when you use liquid glue with the metallic paper, you can kind of take off some of the shine. And I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to make sure that our metallic stayed just as shiny as when we cut it. Okay, so there are our presents. All right, now let's do our deer. I love this deer head. I think it's so fun. All right, so we start out with the base with the antlers is out of Early Espresso. Then we're going to come in here. This is just basic white. You could use 1 Whisper White if you wanted to. Could use really any color in there that you want. And we're just going to like put this down. I'm going to pick him up and just kind of make sure the edges are even with the ears and the sides. Okay, that looks pretty good. So, and what I love is I love how when we do this, just a little tiny bit of that white is going to show through on the eye. And then with the nose, you're going to have that brown. You could actually put some red behind there if you wanted to get like, put red like over the brown where the, before you put the white on and make it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You could do that. I actually didn't have enough forethought to do that. So that's why we're just going with this. Okay, but how cute is this deer? Is he not the cutest thing you've ever seen? I think he is so cute. I love this deer head. All right, and then I cut one of these out of garden green, these little like string ties, and I did put some adhesive backing on it just because it makes life much easier when you have these little pieces to have that adhesive backing on there. We're going to give him a little tie. And then the last thing we're going to do are the jingle bells. I got to wipe my fingers. I got glue on them. I could feel it. This is why you keep baby wipes handy in the craft room, because you never know. Now, again, I did not put the adhesive on the back of these. Did I? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Okay, so let's start putting this, because I think I did put the adhesive on the back of them. So I am going to glue my wreath down. And again, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue. The reason being, I don't really want that glue to come out the edges. So I'm just kind of being very cautious in how much glue I am using, because the last thing I want is to have a lot of glue. And I do want to use some thread. I'm going to put that on with a glue dot. So now I've got my bells. I'm going to take off the backing on my bells. Pretty sure I put it on. I did. Okay. So now I'm just going to put my bells kind of right here. Okay, we have a big bell and a little bell. So these are just going to go really quickly. There's not a lot to this. The hardest part of this is really just doing all the prep work and doing all the cutting. All right, so now we've got our bells. I'm going to make a bow with our red and white baker's twine. Okay, how cute is that? Let's cut it. Trim both sides. Okay, now I'm going to take a glue dot. I didn't need to go throw that over there, but I did. Somehow I managed to throw it over there. All right, we're going to take a glue dot, and we are going to add this right up here at the top of our bells. Okay, I think I might trim this just a little bit more. It's kind of long. Okay. And then we're going to add our peppermints. Now, these are still out of stock, unfortunately. I purchased one when I bought the suite on pre-order. I was able to get them, so they will be back in November at some point, but these are just so stinking cute. These little peppermint, red and white peppermint embellishments. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to add our deer head to one of our squares. All right. All right, we're going to add our holly berries and our holly leaves to one of our squares. Okay. All right, we're going to add our Christmas tree to one of our squares. Okay, now we're going to have our bigger square here. We're going to add our tall present in the middle. Okay, again, just a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to add one of the short presents on each side. Okay. I'm just going to kind of make sure that they're even on the bottom. All right. And then there we go with this one. Okay. All right, that's our presents. Now we're going to add our string of lights on this one. Let me move that out of the way. Now these I did put backings on them because, again, these are so tiny. It would be really hard to get the glue on there, and it just gets really messy. So sometimes it's just easier to go ahead and put the adhesive backing on them. And I think I put like 3 pieces on this. There's one. Sometimes you got to take off the second one. Okay, let me see. Sometimes it's not always easy to find the end of the adhesive. Kind of stick that there. Hopefully I can find the end. And there we go. It's 80 degrees here. It's really, really warm for Halloween. It's kind of crazy how warm it is. That's what I'm going to kind of stick right in the middle. Okay, it's not going to be exactly in the middle. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but it's close enough to the middle. And then I've got 2 more. I cut these out of white cardstock, and I cut them. I colored the wire with smoky slate, and then I did Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, and Garden Green for my lights. On my sample, I did green and red, and then I realized, oh, the red doesn't really show up on the red cardstock. So I'm like, I need to do something that's going to pop more on that red cardstock. So now this one, I just kind of did a little bit like that. And if you notice, I'm going to kind of trim this right there, because we don't want to have that a little bit right there. Okay. And then we're going to come on with our other strand of lights. Okay, we're just going to have our lights going all kinds of ways. All right. Here we go. Let's see. All right, there we go. And then we're just going to go, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, maybe this way. Okay, and we're going to cut that one kind of right there, right there. Okay, so now we have all of our squares. So let's pull back our big square. And we're just, before we glue them down, we're going to place them to make sure we like where they are. And then we can go ahead and glue them in place. But that's what we're going to do. Put this one here, maybe. I definitely want my sentiment to be in the middle. And then those are kind of where we're going to put them. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So now I'm just going to go sort of one square at a time and just kind of glue them down. Okay. There we go. Hopefully they're going to be on there straight or straight-ish. Straight is a relative term, but straight-ish. Okay. Go up here with this one next. All right. There you go. All right, we go there. And these two. All right. There we go. And our last two. And then we're going to be all done with putting our deer, our reindeer days mini sampler or mini shadow box together. Okay, there we go. And that is our mini Reindeer Days sampler. I'm just going to go ahead and put this into an 8 by 8-inch frame, and we're going to call it done. And I think this is going to be really cute on my mantle this Christmas. You like the wall art, Joan? Yeah, thanks. I do too. I just thought it was something different. I've done a ton of cards. I'm like, let's break out and try something different. Judy, hey, thanks for watching from Maryland. Next door neighbor right here. We're right by, where are we? We're right by Harper's Ferry, and not too far from, I guess the Charlestown we're pretty close to, which is not too far from the Maryland border. So we are kind of right there with you. That is it for me for this evening. I hope you like this little project. I thought it was fun. It was just something different to do. I will have all the measurements on my blog post. It'll be up probably this weekend. Tomorrow, I'm going out with two of my teammates. We're going to look at venues to host Creativity in Bloom, a spring retreat. So we're looking at a couple of different venues and options to host like a day and a half, 2-day getaway in March. And that's kind of where we are. So that'll take up all day tomorrow. And then, did I tell you we got a new foster puppy on Monday? She's the cutest little thing. So between having the foster puppy, having the dog with the torn ACL issues, I got a lot going on. It's been a busy week. Anyway, it's all good. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.